All right, team, it's a pretty fresh reaction for me, especially for this second game. So we're going to enjoy the first one. We're going to enjoy GOATphreys because, my goodness, he was the must-have of the year. Thank goodness that there was zero wavering on my front with that one. But there was one other young man that absolutely killed me. Let's go through the good stuff. Terrell May, what a joy to watch you are, Mr. Terrell May. We've got the Tigers Knights and we've got the Souths and the Dolphins over this little half an hour period of your life. Hope you do have fun. If you are enjoying it, subscribe and do follow on YouTube and also the podcast. 77 in 66 minutes, and this was pretty well expected, wasn't it? I thought 60 to 65 was pretty fair for Terrell. 5 offloads, just the 1 error and the 1 penalty with 53 in base outside of all of that. So no tries, no try assists, only 2 tackle breaks in this one. And he absolutely dominated. So congrats to all Terrell May owners. He was the captaincy man of the week with Payne Haas, and it was expected as well. But I don't think I could go against someone like Yo or even Cleary before Terrell. But for those that like taking risks, it was an easy risk to take. Awesome work. Not too much else to say on him. Was a clear must-have. He's owned by 42% of people. That is ridiculous. It should have been a 100. Fletcher Sharp, 58, did pick up an easy try off an incredible run by Dylan Lucas. And you will see Ponga up at 60 because they didn't pop in his escape from in goals. So he will, is ahead. And we haven't got the updates as yet with this game. I'll check it as we're talking right now. But Fletcher looked really, really good. I was impressed with his running of the footy. Picked up 129 run meters, which was great. No further updates as yet. Yeah. And picked up that try off that awesome Lucas run, and gee, that got me excited. 8 tackle breaks for Fletcher, 8 tackles, 1 miss is pretty weird in this type of game. But for 10-8 for him to only have 8 tackles at in a position where why would you not run at him given he's come from the wing last year and fullback? So that was interesting. But turnover, tackle and offload, plenty of great stuff for Fletcher. And if you did pick him up, obviously you end up with the dual, the wing fullback and the half. At 550k, it was a tough ask to grab him, but he gives me the vibes of Brimson in terms of being able to run for plenty but have all the attack in his game. But Brimson at the moment looks like he's got some kick meters in his game as well, which is great to see. So Fletcher, an exciting one. If you wanted to jump on him as that wing fullback guy, then I can't see why not. The Knights played terribly in this game, and the Tigers, they just didn't have enough points, unfortunately. For a team that has, Luai and Galvin, they look really good at times. For them to only end up with the 8 points and for the Knights to somehow sneak this win at Campbelltown Stadium as well is a testament to the Knights and hanging in there in their defence, because their attack was absolutely shocking, especially in that first half. They looked terrible, and the Tigers looked pretty strong and up for this clash. Kalen Ponga, man, he was a worry in that first half, just with how poor they played the Tigers. And as I said, we don't have the updates yet, and he'll be at 60 before any cleanups that they do in this game. For him to get 60 in this one, when the Knights were really, really poor, I think is awesome. He should have had a try assist for Best that he didn't decide to tip on, and it went out. I was going to say it went out of bounds. It went out of play. And Ponga also probably should have pinned the ears back on his one. The fullback, Mason, went for the ball instead of going for Ponga. So, he passed that back on the inside, and Luai knocked it down and ended up being an error on that one. So he scores across the board, obviously with 5 points in kick meters as well. He had heaps of kick defusals, ran for 191 meters. He had 4 errors in there, but he has an offload. He has 6 tackle breaks in the game. He has a couple of line breaks, and he had the 1 goal. But there will be games where he does pick up the try. I know it's random. He will pick up try assists. He'll have the extra offload or 2, and he'll have those extra goals. And once they start to get things going, the Knights, Ponga's going to be a scary one to not own, and I'm very glad that I did end up sticking with him. But at halftime, with his 16 points, when Greg was on 18, I was like, oh, it would have been nice just to grab Greggy boy. I was happy enough with the second half, that's for sure. Hopefully they play better, though, because that was frustrating viewing, that's for sure, having a few of those guys. And Leo Thompson with 55, a really out there type of game for him because there was no missed tackles. So impressive work from him and all these guys up the top here. You're looking at Twiley with no missed tackles. Greg, no made tackles, no missed tackles. Good on him. Galvin, was actually a lot more missed tackles for him than normal, so that was interesting. But with Lucas, I feel like I thought I was gonna look at this score at the end and go, oh, mad, 65-70, and obviously just slowed down a little bit at the end, picked up an error, picked up an extra missed tackle, I think. I feel like those tackle numbers really, really low, given he hadn't done too much in that first half in terms of any attacking stats, and he did pick up, close to 20 tackles in that first half as well. He was on 27, and I thought he had a much better second half than he had the first half. And in a fantasy scoring, he only doubled his score to 54, so that was frustrating. That run was absolutely electric, and it made me so glad to have him in my side, sitting in my centres. Definitely a safety blanket and something to get excited about for sure. And I do feel like he should update a little bit, and I've been waiting for it. He's sitting at 55 in the app right now, and I do hope that he does update there. But no offloads in this one. If he happens to get a try and not an offload or two, I think that Lucas is going to end up in a really good position as a 55, 57. He could end up there like easily, but then there's obviously the other side of it where he can have a 40 if that big run doesn't come. But I just feel like these stats are a bit off. I don't know. Just feels like a weird one in a game that was so back and forth. There's obviously a fair few errors, and that's a bit of an issue. You see, all these guys, even in the top section, with errors in their game, basically, and then you're getting into the 1s, 2s, and 3s down below, like Gagai and Best on either side, 2 and 3 for them. Ponga with 4, obviously a couple of them going up for a defensive catch and having some errors. But then you're looking at guys like Jack Bird off the bench, Cogger had 1, Hetherington. It was just such a shocking game from that standpoint, and I do think that hurt a bunch of these types of scorers unless you were getting in the attacking stats out there. So Lucas, happy enough with the score. I hope he does update to about a 57 or 58, and that'll keep me with a smile on my face, because that second game, apart from the hump goat, I'm calling him now, it was a bit tough. But Twali, 52 for him, a couple offloads at certain periods of time where I think they were kind of caught near last tackle and he had the ball and it's like, oh, quick, offload. So those cheeky points come out there. But 51 minutes for him, he's such a good scorer when it comes to that. So if you did take Twal to begin things, I wish I joined you on that front if you're comparing that to Mr. David Moale. But 529k, 52 out of him, good minutes of 51. And you had Jack Bird come on and play big minutes as well, and it didn't stop those guys too much. Like, they were both able to be on the park at the same time and do some good work. So congrats to Twali owners. Greg Marzou, what about that try? It was a strange one. Just went out the back, that pass. If Bradman Best can learn to pass at the moment, it would be an absolute godsend, because 52 for Greg. That try, he basically had to do all himself and picked up 5 tackle breaks, 4 offloads there with 3 to hand. Was awesome for his scoring, and 162 meters. So Greg, he is the good pick, and well done to those that took him to start. And if you took him over Ponga, you didn't miss out on too much. You actually come out the better of the two, but there's obviously a world where Ponga, who didn't play super well in my opinion, goes into the stratosphere, and that's why you do own guys like that. And Greg, if they score a try, this is what you get. If they don't score a try, it's in the 30s. So that's that. Galvin, I thought looked really good at times, but again, just couldn't create enough attack. And obviously, he looks elusive. He gets offloads. It's just his part of his base now. And 274 kick meters with 321 for Luai. So with Galvin last year was pretty similar to this split anyway. So that doesn't change too much. He had his hands on the ball plenty, making 132 meters compared to Luai's 56. And it was a solid score from Luai as well with 46. But when you're looking at those two guys, you need them in the 50s for them to be worth it. And it was a little bit of a down game for them. But they'll work on that combination. They'll get better and better each and every week. And I thought it was a solid start for them, but they just couldn't get over the hump in the second half. They just didn't play well enough compared to how they played, I think, in the first half, and just didn't have the attack. So shout out to the Knights for, they had one of the better defenses in the league last year, and that continued to show in this one. Samuel Lefanu. This one's an interesting one when I'm looking at him in Safearth, because so I was a Safearth owner, and Fanu only got 84 meters. And in this one, you do have to look at the amount of errors. Like, that's a big thing to take into this one. There's obviously a few guys that had big run meters. You had May played 66 minutes, but a lot of it was the attacking players that had good meters, apart from, Leo Thompson in this one. You'd say, Lucas got a big run that got him up, but it was outside backs and attacking type players that were able to get those meters. So with Samuela, especially on the Tiger side, there weren't too many meters out for those two edges. 84 for him and like 40 something for Seyfarth as well, who I do own. 46 for him. 3 missed tackles, an error, and a penalty. Oof. Yeah, can't get too much worse for Seyfarth compared to how we're used to seeing him when he does start on the edge. But it feels like to me, the point I'm trying to get out is they went to Seyfarth, they went to Samuel Fainu a little bit more because he's a little bit more damaging. We didn't see too much of a damaging run from Seyfarth. And we also saw both halves take it themselves most of the time, or they just cut it back through the middle. So I wasn't going out to those players as much, but when Fainu got it, I thought he was pretty electric with his 6 tackle breaks there. Kaivis Paul, 44 for him. He was flying. I think he was well ahead of what Lucas was at. I think he was sitting there early days, 23 off 20, and in a great spot, and he ended up playing the 80 minutes and only picking up 44. So 2 errors, 2 missed tackles for him, no tackle breaks, but had the couple offloads early as well. So just didn't improve for him in the second half. And definitely, with the way it was going, it's not the score you want. But if you do own him, it's a very clear and easy hold. And you won't be displeased. But you could see the potential uptick in points from that first half. And we just got to see that improve over the full 80 minutes. Adam Dewey is next. 43 for him. A couple of beautiful goals there as well with that try assist out the back. 19 tackles for 1 miss, 95 run meters, and a turnover tackle. So that's great news. If Dewey can come out and hit a 43 with just the 1 try assist, the couple of goals, and the rest in base, you know that there's going to be a game where he does score. And hopefully he can continue kicking goals because he looked great. And he does look great when he kicks goals. And I think he should, even though Appy kicks them fairly well, I do think that Dewey's a better kicker at that. But yeah, he's a fun one. I don't know if you go and chase him, but if you started with him, you're very, very happy with the output. And congrats to everyone that's had an awesome round too. I'm super excited for everyone, the guys in the private crew, anyone who watches my stuff. Again, if you're interested in popping JBFA as a representative of the crew here that we've got, I'd really appreciate that. It'd be so cool to see all you guys out there, and it's like, this is the content you watch, and I can help you out with some picks, and hopefully you didn't pick Bevan Moale or Seyfarth. Apparently, can't believe that this has happened the way it has. Stats don't always tell the story, do they? Unfortunately, when they come out and play shocking. Crossland, 40 in 60 minutes. Pretty solid at 382. Had to make 49 tackles to do it. So there'll be other games where he doesn't end up with those ridiculous tackles. And he will end up in the early 30s and just not be worth it. You go up to near 400k after this one, but not someone you really want. Gagai, 39. And Bradman Best, 39. So Gags, we just wait until he gets a bit cheaper. Best was the fun play in this one. For him to have 8 tackle breaks, 3 offloads with 2 to hand and 194 meters, a super tough game, only getting 39. He should have had a try himself if he ran it instead of passing it. He had a couple of flick balls that didn't work out well. He threw that one out the back that Marzu had to go and grab and then come through and score a try there himself. So Best is an absolute weapon, and there were so many good things coming out in his way, and there will be a game soon where he goes 65 or 70. It should have been this one, and he didn't play well enough, unfortunately. 3 errors, 3 penalties. It obviously, thankfully for the team, they were able to get the win. But for him, I think he'll be disappointed with that effort, knowing what he could have done, for sure. And expect a big one coming soon. So if you picked him, you're not terribly displeased. I just think that there was a few points gone begging. Schiller, I thought he looked really good. 11 tackle breaks and a line break for him, 152 meters, and he helped them end up with that try. Schiller made that line break, and then they did score with Greg, which ended up being the game-winning try. So that was a really awesome run from Schiller, and 38 points for him. At 500k, though, it's a no. And then Skelton, same on the other side, both 500k, and 38 points for him with an early try, which was ideal. 210 run meters, did have 3 missed tackles, though. Made 0, missed 3. Pretty tough there for Jarrell. And 1 error. So this is kind of what we have seen from him. He gets the try, he picks up a 40-odd or 50 if he can get big tackle break numbers. If he's not scoring tries, he can get into that sort of high 20s to 30s. And 38 in this one, you probably want a little bit more with that early try. But it's not the end of the world either. Matt Croker, a big 35 minutes for 36 points. Talon De Silva and Hope, they split the time there, 47 for Talon in this one. I think he had to go off at the end, did he? to check those minutes with Hope. 35 and 47. No, basically, yeah, I can't remember. Something happened to him at the end, didn't it? Or he's mucked around with that fight. But 34 for him. You weren't going to buy either of those two with the minute split and Appy coming back. Jaden Brayley still played 54 minutes, so they mucked around with both of them on the park for a lot of time. So 114 minutes between the two of them. And Frizzell only 39 minutes. So it's clear that Lucas and Kaipis Paul are the guys playing big minutes on the edges there. We should see Adam Elliott return soon. And the way Frizzell played 39 minutes here, you can maybe expect that going forward. And unless there was something I didn't see in this one, for him to play less minutes, I think that was just to play a half a game. He's getting a little bit older, and we'll have other guys to come in and play those other minutes. So that was ideal. But Seyfarth, as I said there, not ideal with the negatives that we saw with him. -10 in this one. He made 33 tackles, which was ideal, and did pick up one offload. Did get the HIA in this game, came on for the last 5 minutes, and yeah, he could have crawled to 40, which we're hoping for a mid-40s or to high 40s, and that was pretty well expected from what we've seen from Seyfarth in his time on the edge. He didn't look as damaging as what we've seen in the past, and he easily got to 40-odd in that trial game, similar to Davin Moale, but it wasn't to be in this one. And I do think he's an easy guy that you can hold this next week coming, but he's also one that I understand people might want to look to sell as well. Like he could easily come out and go back to what the numbers say, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, it looks like he was going to play the 80 minutes. Unless you see a Ruben Porter or something like that onto the bench next week, then Seyfarth should go back to 80 minutes. He passed the HIA, came back on, and could easily be a mid-40s guy. And at 475, and he'll stay pretty similar to that with Jewel and no buy coming up. I think that he's still an easy guy to hold. It's just you're probably going to make the two trades, and which guys are you going to grab? Jack Bird, 29 for him in 54 minutes. So the 5 missed tackles were there, which does hurt. But he's going to come out and try and put hits on, and that's who Jack Bird is. Only the 3 tackle breaks, no offloads in this one, and no attacking stats. So the minutes is really good at 54. He did play all of those minutes through the middle, and we know with him that PPM is usually a lot higher. But if you started with him at 29, it's not the end of the world. There is room and scope for improvement with offloads, with an improvement in missed tackles, and any type of attacking stats, and he could be in the mid to high 30s, 40s on a general basis, but injuries as well will push him out to other sections of the park. So be aware of that with Bird, and roll with it. Just hold, see what happens with him, basically. Super simple. Cogger's a bit of a worry. Did have some good kick meters, but you've got Ponga. You've got Sharp, I think, is more important in this side, and it felt like if Ponga was involved in a play, it was like, okay, Cogger, you can kick now kind of deal. And it was very just a normal get around the park guy. Not going to have heaps of attacking stats. 27 is much less than I would have expected. I was at least expecting in the 30s for him. And he's an easy guy that you could move to someone in the next game. That's for sure, who we'll talk about. Taruvu at 22 was a bit low. We saw Fatape with a try saver, but 5 missed tackles, 15 made. Didn't offer a lot in attack, 67 run meters, but that right-hand side wasn't too exciting, that's for sure. And I do expect Stafford Toa to go back into that position. I don't think Fatape offered a lot last year, and people were saying he's great in the trials, but Stafford Toa is a jet. So he should be in the side. Royce Hunt, 14 for him in 30 minutes. Pretty gross. Getting involved with a bit of niggle, 2 missed tackles, no bus, no offloads, had a penalty in there. It was pretty tough viewing for anyone who did decide to buy Royce Hunt. I'm glad most of us did jump off, and if you didn't, I think there are other easy cheapies that you can pivot to over the next couple of weeks. So that's Royce Hunt, and that's that game. So overall, it was a Seyfarth one that kind of annoyed me. Outside of that, I was very happy with Lucas, with Ponga, and Terrell May. And let's see if there's been any updates from here while we go to the next game, which is the South and the Dolphins. All right, looks like we don't have any changes yet, which is weird. Usually have plenty of updates by this point. So, the exciting man, Humph Goat. Jamie Humph Goat, the best name in the world, clearly. 69 for him pre-update, 714 kick meters, 30 tackles with no misses, and he was a menace in defense. He was chasing blokes. Actually, he wasn't as much of a menace as Tom Gilbert. My goodness, 59 tackles. But Humphreys, incredible. He was chasing blokes. He was chopping at the legs. He's a big boy. He's strong. Looks great. Kicks awesome goals apart from that penalty goal. Thank God for them. It didn't ruin the night, obviously, and didn't end up getting the ball getting in the hands of the Dolphins in that one. And they got up the park a bit, but picked up an offload, picked up a turnover tackle, dragging with stretch, dragging whoever it was, Tupou or something over the sideline. Only ran the 44 meters, but he didn't need to as much in this one. He tried his hand at certain times, but for him to have 0 negatives, he was the must-have of round one. There was no if buts maybes about it for me, thank goodness. And if you did jump on with me, there was 6.5% that did jump on, and congrats for doing that. If you thought similar to me, then awesome. If you just jumped on because I was talking him up, awesome. I'm glad you didn't wait the extra week, because there's no way that Dodd can make this side again. He was one of their best players. He's safe in a team that's missing a lot of experience. For only playing his second NRL game, he looks like a veteran out there, and he's got a big boot on him. He had spirals, he had everything, and Cody Walker wasn't a kicker of the footy in this game, basically, until the end. So can Dodd come in and do that stuff? I don't think so. People are like, oh, Humphreys might take Mamazell's spot at 9. No, I don't see that happening. Why would you change Humphreys just to fit Dodd in? They won this game. I think they continue with this. I think they should continue with this longer term. And if an injury comes, then Dodd comes in. It's as simple as that for now. They've got Sullivan, who came in and did a bit of a job with the injury to Tyrone Munro. That was really, really tough to see. Collarbone stuff again. He looked really good as well, Ty. So condolences out for him. I hope he's okay. And a big shout out to the Dolphins, guys. It's a tough loss here. I did end up tipping them too. I was 4 from 4 until this one, so that was rough. Stuck with the Dolphins after not seeing too much from the Bunnies, but having guys like Jairo in there and then Humphreys at 7 was so important to this side. And a shout out to those guys. Colin Matangi played really, really well also. But a shout out to the Dolphins, guys, for getting on that plane and coming and playing along here, and hopefully they can get back home safely and everything at home goes well for him. Humphreys, get him in your side if he's named next week, and he should be. Jairo, 607k at 65. With a 65, I've been talking about him as a guy that you can slot in to your side, and when we think he's going to be playing 80 minutes, and we did see, Tallis Duncan spending some time out on the edge in one of their videos, have a nice flick pass, and there was some talk that you should play a little bit of edge, and Arrow won't play the full 80. But in this game, they did lose Munro, and I think they decided just to roll with Arrow. He looked great out there. I don't know why you'd take him off. 42 tackles for no misses. Just gets involved in everything. Runs the footy well. Had 3 tackle breaks. Had 2 turnovers. And for those that did have him at a point last year, you would have been watching this going, yeah, that's my boy. But I don't think many would have jumped on in this one here at 1.5%. So congrats if you're in that ownership group. All right, let's get to the man of the minute. Psycho Plath's best mate, Psycho Tom. Wow. 65 for him in 57. That's the best game I've seen from him in terms of just being an absolute dog, an absolute workhorse. 59 tackles from him. Even ones where it was just like, they'd flop to the ground. He'd run over from 5 meters away, jump on him. He just wanted to be everywhere. And the minutes there are 57. I feel like it probably shouldn't increase just because of how hard he goes when he's on there. But he could end up as a 60, 65 guy, as we saw in the past, a 63. And if he gets anywhere near 63 minutes, this could be dangerous. And this is probably a peak game for him. But in what world do you see him going under 40? It would only be if it's a super high scoring game and it's played on the edges. But then again, I saw him making tackles out on the edges, just following the play. Wow, he was a cattle dog out there. There's not much else to say. He was moving, getting around. That's for sure. 3 missed tackles in the end. Like for someone that had 3 missed tackles pretty early, he had 36 in the 34 minutes. He then came on and played the 22 minutes in the back end and picked up another 29 points. So tackles galore, had the 1 tackle break, ran for 91 and 1 offload. So no attacking stats in this, all base, incredible. And I'm going to be pushing hard to try and get him in my side next week, because at 500k, he'll go to 520 odd, 530, whatever it's going to be with dual position. He is the leader of this team. It's not even funny. Like, it's not even close. And you had really good performances from guys like Psychoplath, Maxi Plath, who I loved last year. Jermaine Osako came back with the goods with a couple of tries there. Herbie on his inside with 58, and Hammer with 56, and Marshall King with 51. Isaiah Katoa with 50. They have some leaders in this side, but he leads in the middle, and all these guys have their space in that team. But Tim being captain, a few people jumped on that just straight off the fact that he's named captain in this side, and he led from the front. So Gilbert most likely going to be trying to get into my side next week unless something weird happens. Keelan Kolomatangi, 63 for him in 80 minutes. It was a terrific effort out there. Full game, 6 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, big run meters, good tackle numbers for him, only 2 misses. So congrats to anyone that did jump on Kolomatangi. I thought it was a bit of a push, but you can see where a lot of this game was played. Him and Arrow had big tackles or big runs, either way. And Kolomatangi playing to his strengths like we saw last year. And Osako, like I said, 63 for him, and it was great to see some good high scores in this game. 10 players getting 50 or more. It was awesome. And Osako picked up a try saver as well in this one to go along with his 2 tries, and they had good shape out the back there with Herbie in there in that one, picking up 1 try assist himself, and then a lovely cutout ball by Hamaso to get that other try. And what about Hammer there with 10 tackle breaks and 216 meters? That's the kind of running and the kind of efforts that you want from Hammer if you're a Dolphins fan, and if you are interested in putting him in your fantasy side at 589k. That's what you need to be looking for, because he will get the attacking stats and he will get the tackle breaks to boot. Maxi Plath, 61 for him with that try. A good little one there. 43 tackles, 1 miss. He defended so much better than the trial, which is great to see, and he should continue to play those massive minutes there. And there's a little bit of a unknown based on what was going to happen with Finefuyaki. He did have to go off for a head knock, and Lemuelu did come on as well. So we're unsure exactly if Plath was going to play 80 on the edge or not. I do think he was going to, but Finefuyaki looked really good as well. So, of course, again, as I said, picking the wrong mid-rangers. We haven't seen mine yet. Farnworth with 58, Plath, as I said, 61. Much else to say? I don't know. Farnworth, we know, is a gun. You could have started with him, like I mentioned. Did outscore Lucas, but he's a bit more expensive as well. And Plath's really good. Marshall King, 51. He played 69 minutes, tackled 55 times for 1 miss. Didn't have to do too much else, so good score on that. Isaiah Katoa, I said that he would make a nice improvement this year, and I'm glad that one was correct. 28 tackles for 1 miss. He looked pretty solid, but couldn't ice the game. 1 try assist here. Just the low negatives was great for him. 372 kick meters for him with 50 running. Was really solid, but he's fairly expensive. Jai Gray, what an incredible player. I'm so glad I can watch him get out there and play. 44 for him. If you started with him, happy enough. A little bit of value there. Saifidi, Daniel, 54 minutes for him in the end. And that's the cool thing to see, that obviously he comes over and does play big minutes, and it didn't really affect Gilbert. And I do think there's games there where Saifidi will hit lower minutes, and he did have a HIA, so he did come back on, and I'm not sure if that stuffed around with the minutes at all, and what we'll see next week from him and Gilbert and these types of guys. But for him to go 54 minutes in this one and pick up a 43 was a really solid effort. Finefuyaki, 39, as I said, in 54 minutes, 5 tackle breaks, 125 run meters. So they used him really efficiently out there, and thankfully, he still scored a 39, but he does miss next week. And just use him as a looper, guys. I think if you hold on to him, you're going to get some spoils, because he looked really, really good. He looked good in the trial, and we're just unsure on the minutes. But if he can have this much of an improved PPM, and they're going to give him the footy in space, and he looked really fast, like if you're comparing him to Seyfarth, usually seeing Alex as a more of a defensive guy that can have attacking stats, and Finn looked the opposite side, but his defense has been pretty solid as well. 125 run meters for 5 tackle breaks is very, very impressive, and they used him a lot, which is the big news there. What about Averillo? 38, but Kurt Donahue with 38 in 44 minutes. So this one is the big one here, in my opinion. He picked up a 30 30 tackles and no misses. But Jeremy Marshall-King played 69 minutes and Kurt Donahue played 44, and they've just used him as a guy through the middle as a runner, which is awesome. He ran for 82 meters, and this is the standout cash cow of the of the game here and of the week. So Kurt Donahue at 250k, I think we can probably watch one more week to see if he gets these minutes. And if he does, I think he's a cracking option because he's a great player. And if he's going to defend and play through the middle, if he can get 45 minutes going forward, then I do think he makes a good couple 100k. So this was a guy I did mention as a potential option, but I definitely didn't expect 44 minutes. I was probably expecting 30 in that middle rotation and probably a high 20s to 30 score and making you some cash. But yeah, didn't expect that, and that was very, very impressive in my boat. Kerr had a couple of really good runs in 31 minutes for 121 meters. Campbell Graham, a really solid game in return. Good run meters, 3 offloads, and 2 turnover tackles. Defense, lost 2 points in tackles, which wasn't ideal. Cody Walker, you can't go near. Tallis Duncan, look, I had David Moale in my team. Got 30 minutes. Didn't look great. One guy who looked way better than the trials is Tallis Duncan. So shout out to him and playing better. He came on at 22 minutes or 23 minutes for Moale, and they split the minutes, unfortunately, for my boy. But Duncan, come on, man, do something in your minutes, will you? If you're going to get 58 minutes, at least get a 45 or 50, will you? But people were looking at him. I'm still imagine he's got a bit of ownership. No, 2.8%, not much at all. I thought he had a really good game, though, so shout out to him on that one. Mamazellus, 34 for him, 72 minutes. Severely came back on at the end and took away a little bit from Mam. We didn't see much running from him in the first trial. The second trial we did, and he got involved in a bit of that. And look, if he's going to be a 45 tackle guy in 72 minutes, he missed a bunch. Obviously had the penalty in the inside 10. If he's going to have that and hit in the mid-30s, it's fine. He's going to make the 150k or something like that. There will be the odd game, though, at these minutes where he's going to get attacking stats. He's going to get a try assist. He's going to get some type of running. And in this game, it wasn't it. There will be times where this floor of 34 will increase for sure. Veely with 33 and 30 minutes is really, really solid as well. And shout out to Hubner. I did end up playing him, which, I actually hoped for a little bit more. Did get a turnover tackle in there. Almost should have 2, I'm not sure. But 33 tackles, 5 misses. He does go hard and he does jump at players a little bit. And this efficiency defensively, didn't see that as much in Q Cup. He's about a 90% guy and scored really, really well. Had a better PPM than this, but 33 for him. Got the minutes of 60, and I think that means that he's going to make enough cash. So if you did start with him, I did play him in my 17, given I wasn't sure what I was going to do with I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with my last gun position. So Hubner started and thinking about Duffy and these types of guys as playing as well. But 33 for him. Hopefully he does update a little bit as well, and we'll all be happy with that. Whiten with 30, Raystone with 30 as well. Do you attack Hubner? Look, I think that 33 is probably going to be a low for him in 60 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. Munro with 30, picked up 2 tries and the line break. Collarbone issue now. Hopefully it's not long term. 30 at the half was very, very much ideal. And hopefully you can just hold on. It's a short-term injury. You can loop him and go from there because you'd be very happy with that 30 at half-time. Isaiah Tass picked up a try late and it was pretty well what we expected on the wing. Had to get some attacking stats to get points and picked up a 29 and makes a little bit of cash, but not too much. And then Kepi got 50 minutes compared to Moale. I thought Moale was getting that every day of the week. And not that it mattered. He played poor anyway. I didn't see 3 missed tackles from him, but 13 tackles for 3 misses, 61 run meters. Didn't offer a lot. Didn't look anything like the trial, Davy. And then the minutes were nothing like we would have expected. So things were correct with Totola. He got 26 minutes. I expected that. Duncan with near 60. Obviously, you just preferred Duncan on a night like this with a pretty fast and mobile squad that the Dolphins do have. But Kepi getting 50 minutes. I didn't expect that at all. And we'll cop that in the chin and move on. It's a long season, 27 rounds, right? You don't have to get every round perfect. And this was another one that I did not get perfect, apart from a few picks. Jamie Humphreys, thank you very much. Connor Watson, thank you very much. But yeah. Felice, Junior Tupou, 21. Totola with 18. Lemuelu with 9 in 27 minutes. Let's watch that cash fly down. And Jaden Sullivan, 0 in 40 minutes with my boy, Oren Keeley, as the 18th man. Will get his time. Who will get his time? When will it be, though, actually? He might play next week, to be fair. He could be the bench guy if our boy Finifuyaki does not... is not going to feature next week. But David Wiley is getting booted to the moon we can't deal with that. We can't deal with price drops like that. So he'll be down 20k or something like that, and we'll get rid of him next week, and we'll work it out over the next few days. So thanks so much for jumping in for this video, guys. I very much appreciate all your support. Making this late at night after 11 p.m. I'm off to coaching in the morning, so I wish my under 12s kids that I'm coaching in their semi-final some good luck, and hopefully it's better than the finish to my night watching that second half and going, oh, is Davy ever going to come on? So he's getting booted to the moon, and Humphreys is also going to the moon, but in a much happier way. Thanks so much, guys. Consider joining the private group down below. Plenty of cash prizes and everything up for grabs, and help from myself and the team. And we need everyone to be in for that, ready for the head-to-head knockout that starts next week, which I can't wait for. Thanks, guys. I'm catching the next one.